Hello folks, it's Gordon here. Hope all is well with you. And I went to Live Aid yesterday. Well, not yesterday this year. Yesterday a few years ago. It's July the 14th as I'm recording this video. And it was July the 13th. I went to Live Aid back in 1985. Now, you might be thinking, Christ, you're old. And I've got two reactions to that. The first one is, yeah, all right, leave it. The second one is I had just turned 19 back then, and what are you going to do about it? And it was good. It was really good. Got my ticket here, a proper ticket, none of this e-ticket gobblers, proper paper ticket. Come back to that in a minute. It's really good. And a lot of people say when we talk about Live Aid, what about the Queen set? Was it as good as everyone says it was? And it was good. People often say, oh, the greatest concert gig in the history of rock and roll. You hang on. It was good because they had rehearsed and they'd prepared their set. And other acts came on and did, one or two songs and then went off again. Great. Big stars. But they prepared a 20-minute mini version of their concert. And Freddie, right from the started with Bohemian Rhapsody, so it was pick the bones out of this, we're not going to mess about. And just non-stop, hit after hit. And Freddie, from the word go, was non-stop crowd work. He did not stop working the crowd. And the atmosphere for the whole day was amazing. So I just turned 19. It wasn't my first gig, but it was the first time I'd been to anything on that scale. And the excitement. And with Queen, everyone doing the Radio Gaga and the clapping and the We Will Rock You. None of this, everyone holding up their phones, because that wasn't a thing at the time. And I said I was going to come back to the e-ticket thing nowadays instead of paper, and no one holding up their phone at the concert. Let me talk about Paul McCartney first, before I come back to phones. Because Paul McCartney really was the big name. The Queen thing, another reason it was so successful and so remembered was because it sort of reminded everyone how good they were. People had thought of Queen as a their glory days had gone. They were a band from the past. But it reminded everyone how good they actually were. And I went back in 1986 to see them at Wembley Stadium. Really good. And yeah, Paul McCartney was sort of the big highlight because Bob Geldof had to talk him out of retirement to do the show. And it was very strange because he did Let It Be, sat down at the piano, and Live Aid had a revolving stage so that they could set up one act while another one was on and then revolve the stage. And the wires got caught up, so when the stage revolved, the plug came out for Paul McCartney's microphone. So he started doing, I don't know if it's Let It Be or Hey Jude. And you could hear the piano and you could see him on screen obviously singing, but you couldn't hear anything because his microphone had come unplugged. And some people were booing. And you could see this expression on his face. He knew something wasn't right. Because obviously he could hear himself in his monitor, must have done. Anyway, someone realised pretty sharpish what happened and plugged it back in. But anyway, yeah. Phones I was talking about. No phones at the gig. No one holding up all their phones. No e-ticket nonsense. And I had just turned 19. And something I could not have imagined at the age of 19 was that in the future you would have something, say the size of a pack of playing cards or the phone cover, that you could have something this size. Oh, that's one of my paintings, by the way. I designed that. You could have something this size and you could use it as a phone. Remember, in those days phones were still plugged into the wall on the end of a lead. And at a press of a few buttons, you could get access to the majority of all human mankind's knowledge, the majority of it. And you could talk to anyone in the world. You could look at any map in the world. Get your directions. You wouldn't need an atlas. You don't need encyclopedias. You could take photos with it. You could have a live full colour video conversation with someone anywhere in the world at any time of day. In fact, you could do it live with a group of people. On something this size, when I was 19 in 1985, that was pure science fiction. Wouldn't have even imagined it, let alone thought it would be possible, let alone thought it would actually happen. It amazes me when I think of that people 19 now obviously think, well, you of course. But what might be the case that in nearly 40 years' time, people who are 19 now might imagine as pure sci-fi will be reality in 40 years. Amazing, really. And talking of phones and the internet and devices, back in 1985, the only way you could make money, or really the only way that you could make money from having been to Live Aid and your opinion of Live Aid, whether it was good or bad or how good Queen were and all the rest of it, would have been to have been a music journalist, really, or a music reviewer who was there and was paid to give their opinion, to write about the concert and going to the concert. It wasn't the only way, but it was the majority way of being paid for giving your opinion. Nearly 40 years later to today, and you can get paid and earn money from sharing your opinion about Live Aid or about music. Now, if you follow me for any length of time, you'll know music and passion, music, passion, why not? Music, passion and sport are massive passions of mine. And I talk about them a lot. And the reason they're passions of mine, and have been for decades, in a word, if I had to sum it up in one word, escapism. I get massive joy from both of them because when I'm indulging in music, listening to it or going to a gig or watching sport, or more and more lately going to live sport, I'm fully there in the moment. Nice sort of escapism, mindfulness for me. If I had to sum it up in a word, that's maybe why I've got such a passion for music and sport. And nowadays, in the present, if you've got an internet connection and a device, and if you're watching this video, you have an internet connection and a device, that's all you need to actually make money from sharing your opinions. Let me plug my phone in talking about it, because something else with phones nowadays is the battery can run out. And I think it's about to. So yeah, that's what I offer. I offer coaching and training about how to get money from content, how to monetize your content. I've called it the content monetization machine. And it comes with a full money back guarantee actually. So if you grab the training, it's a recorded training and a full month in a community with me and other people doing exactly the same to get help and support. You can message me to find out more, or you can go to the website, thecontentmonetizationmachine.com. It's just an amazing, I call the internet a staggering abundance of opportunity. And if you didn't know or didn't imagine, let alone 40 years ago, but certainly now, you might think, well, you can't earn money just from sharing your opinion about whatever interests you, or even sharing other people's opinion. Oh yes, you can. And I'm going to tell you how. That's if you're interested. If you're not interested, no, it doesn't really interest you, does it? But you might be interested. Message me to find out more, or pop along to the website, thecontentmonetizationmachine.com. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below where, leave a comment below wherever you happen to be seeing the video. Signing off for now. Wishing you as ever health and happiness. I'll speak to you again soon.